So I want to talk to you about indifference, and not just any indifference, but a kind of spiteful indifference. Here in Ontario, in my town, my city here in London, two important community organizations were shut down by our provincial government. The first one was a safe injection site. So this was a place where folks who are usually they were folks who were unhoused. They were on the streets or didn't have a place to live and were often addicted, would go to a site downtown and they would be able to use their drugs supervised by the staff there, well-trained staff who knew what they were doing. And if something went wrong, they overdosed, they would get immediate help and not die. And the other thing that I think is important is that they got clean supplies to use their drugs. Now you might say, hey, what the hell are we giving those folks clean supplies to use their drugs for? And why are we giving them the space to take their drugs? Well, that's a pretty good question. But what you have to understand is that when we do that, we cut way down on things like really nasty infectious diseases, hepatitis, horrible infections. I saw one person who had a hole clean through their arm. You could see clean through this person's arm because of the horrible infection they got. And you'd go, well, that's what they get for doing that. But then you have to realize they'll go to the hospital. And the care that they deserve and require will cost a whole hell of a lot more to you and I, the taxpayer, than having a place where they can safely use their drugs with clean supplies and not die if they overdose. The other place that was shut down was a transitional home for folks who were previously homeless, and this was with an organization called London Cares, and the folks who stayed there, well, they did really well. They were getting jobs. There was stability in their lives. They were finding places to live. They were transitioning really well because they had a home, a safe place to be, and they had wraparound care, counseling, support, a place where they could lock their door at night and know that their stuff wouldn't be stolen. And they got to stay there without judgment. They got to stay there with a lot of support. And a lot of those folks were being very successful, getting jobs, paying taxes, building a life. So when I talk about a spiteful indifference, I'm talking about what happens when our government, in this case it's our Premier, Doug Ford, he's the head of our province, and him and his party decide to shut this down because it doesn't look good. We can't have these people having this stuff. It doesn't look good. And it's an easy, quick political issue to use. The other part of this is that this same government is also running ads on the television. And the ads on the television are making the homeless people seem to be really dangerous. You'll see these ads. We've seen these ads on television. They show pictures of a park. Is it safe to go in the park? And can your kids be there? And so it's not only taking the service away, but it's actually building resentment and anger towards folks who are, well, let me tell you, folks who have literally nothing. And yes, I hear and know that a bunch of you will say, well, my stuff was stolen from my backyard, or somebody yelled at me, or I saw a needle in a park. Yeah, I think those are legitimate complaints, but we're not doing anything to solve the underlying issue. And so that kind of thing is going to get a lot of work, get a lot worse. Have you noticed, by the way, how homelessness is increasing and increasing? How there's more and more people on the streets? You ever wonder why that happened? Because it's easier to blame somebody. It's easier to say, that person's no good. Why should I help them? I got enough of my own worries. What if it's you and you get this kind of spiteful indifference from the government, from the leader of wherever it is you happen to live? And by the way, the largest example of spiteful indifference is every one of us. Because we vote those people in. They voted in Donald Trump in the United States. It's a great example of spite. So we end up in a world and in a place where there's less and less care, less and less thought, more and more government sanctioned spiteful indifference. I'm just wondering, is that the kind of place you want to live? It's a good question. Thanks for listening.